First of all, Mr. Chairman, thank you for holding this hearing. Thank you for working with us on this side of the aisle to make sure that the interests of all stakeholders are taken into consideration. And I particularly want to thank you for including financial institutions in the panel. Interstate and swipe fees is the amount of money that merchants pay for accepting a debit or credit card. These fees vary depending on many factors, but in general end up being between 1% to 3% of purchases. And I just learned, including sales tax, a great focus has been paid to these fees as more and more consumers use credit and debit cards to make their purchases. As many of my colleagues know, this is an issue that has passionate voices on both sides. Many Iowa businesses have complained that it seems that these fees are high for accepting credit and debit cards for purchases. These businesses want to give their customers the option to pay using different methods, but that can be difficult if fees are eating into already tight margins, especially for small business owners. They may have to then pass along these costs to the consumer. On the other hand, there are a number of benefits to card usage for both consumers and businesses, including convenience, security, and increased purchasing power. Consumers may spend more money on cards than if they use cash. Consumers may also benefit through rewards or cash back on their cards. There's a balancing act here that we need to acknowledge, and that any future action should be carefully considered for possible impact. I look forward to hearing from all of you on this subject. As this is a Judiciary Committee hearing, we're looking at competition and whether interchange fees are set above rates that would be found in the competitive market. Two witnesses here today represent Visa, MasterCard, the two largest payment networks in the United States with over 80% share of credit card market. I look forward from hearing whether these rates reflect market forces. I think, though, that when a subject like this comes up, particularly at the time of high inflation, that's a factor that brings attention to a lot of expenditures that people might feel are unnecessary. It seems like every industry, including merchants and banks, have been blamed by the president for inflation. That blame game doesn't work, as President Biden spends trillions of dollars of money as fast as could be spent on a liberal wish list, even when economists were warning about inflation. Earlier this month, Bureau of Labor Statistics reported the 12-month increase of inflation for March was 8.5% year over year. This is the largest increase in over 40 years. All of this obscures the actual rising costs that Iowans have been hit with. In the Midwest, the price of ground beef, 24.5% up. Bacon, 26% up, pork chops, 23%, chicken, 31%, eggs, 22%. These are not luxury items, but absolute necessities for families' dinner table. These staggering increases are negatively impacting all Americans and must get under control, and that's not by spending trillions more that are being proposed. I yield.